This is the Atheist Guide to Spiritual Awakening. I am your host Walter, and this episode is about free will. Free will is one of my favorite subjects to think about, for multiple reasons. The first one is that it's driving a lot of our human-to-human interactions. We judge people based on the assumptions that they have free will, but also our social systems. The whole law is based on the assumptions that people have free will, and that it's freely that they make mistakes or break the law. But is it really so? So how do we define free will? Let's look at the Webster definition. So free will is the power of acting without the constraint of necessity or fate, the ability to act at one's own discretion. Free will is then linked to action. What kind of actions do we take in our daily life? Well, we encounter random events and we decide something. Or we are thinking about making something happen, so we explore in our mind future options and we weigh in some way the expected outcomes, the risks and everything, and we decide, okay, I will follow this path. But if it's in our own mind, what is it based on? It's based on our past experience. So, as we saw several times already before, as we progress in life, we accumulate experience, we refine our decision-making algorithms in our mind, the neural networks of our brain adapt, learn from mistakes, experiences, trauma, pain, pleasure, fear, or whatever. And we apply this learning to come to the next decision. But it's not the only thing that impacts our decisions. The only other thing is our state of mind. So our state of mind is driven by what happened during the week, the year, the day, our whole life, or whatever time frame that is currently driving our emotional and logical activities in our mind. So imagine now that you go back to the day of your worst decision. I'm picking the worst decision because that's where free will makes sense. If we made a great decision, then, obviously we are proud of the decision. And then, obviously, it was our will and our freedom that made that decision happen. But the worst decision we ever made, how did we make it? First of all, usually bad decisions are made in a hurry. So we didn't take the time to weigh the pros and cons and come to something rational and balanced with all the information available. But we made a rushed decision because we were not in flow state, but in fight, flight or freeze. So this is the first thing. Bad decisions usually come with a state of mind that is leading to bad decisions, which is fear-based. So take 5 seconds to think about your worst decision. How was that day? What happened before? What was the decision based upon? Why did you make it? Why do you think you made it? Why do you have regrets about it? Ready? You have one? So now make the following thought experiment. You travel back in time to that day, but you lose all recollections about the future that you created by making that decision. Could you make a different one with the same state of mind, the same amount of information available, the same life experience, the same external circumstances, the same situation? Well, personally, I don't see how you would make a better decision if you are basing it on the exact same set of circumstances. So when you made that decision, you excluded all the other options based on who you were and what was your reality at that time. Now, obviously, 10 years down the line, you know it's a bad decision because you saw the consequences, or you learn new things, or you did your shadow work and improved your own inner working, but it's still, if at that time you did the best with what you had in your hand. So if your worst decision is not something that you freely made or had anything to do with your will, how about your best decision? Well, it's exactly the same. Your best decision was made based on your circumstances, based on your intuition, based on your perception of the world, based on your state of mind, based on everything that you were at the moment you made it. So if both the worst and the best decisions you ever made were not freely made or will-based, then how about all others? Then maybe it's when you create something new. You create a new business, you set up a new family unit, you invent a new cooking recipe or whatever. But in a mechanistic universe, this is exactly the same. It's your past experience that allows you to extrapolate new things, have new ideas. So again, how could you make better creations based on the same circumstances? I think you can't. But if you have an idea, I'm happy to hear about it in the comment section. The other way I want to look at this is from a purely science physics perspective. So what are you from a physics perspective? You are a segment of the huge vector that represents the universe in Hilbert space, and that vector is evolving. You are a segment of that vector, and the whole vector is evolving based on the Schrödinger equation. So it's a linear type of evolution, except when there are entanglements and vector state reductions. So basically, except if you can influence the way the your segment of the vector in Hilbert space behaves, which the best guesses of physics say it's a random process based on some probabilities, so still nothing to do with you. From a physics perspective also, you are just doing what the laws of physics are doing. So you're evolving. It's a very complex system. You're interacting with your environment and things, but this whole thing that is around you and in you is just evolving based on the laws of physics. So again, where is freedom in there? And how does that relate in any way to your will? Again, if any of you has an idea how you can make free decisions and will-based decisions based on the current best guess of what the laws of physics are, please comment in the comment section, and I'm happy to take it up in the next episode with you. So my current opinion about free will is that the only way free will could exist is if you could make all of the possible or many of the possible decisions in every moment and follow the downstream consequences and see which one you like more. But even then, what is it liking? Why is this outcome more likable than another one? Okay, maybe you killed less people, that's a good one, if your morals tell you not to kill people. Or you created more happiness in your life. But again, is your moral compass and your own judgment of what is good and bad something that you decided, or something that your life experience gave you, built in you, developed in you? Good question, isn't it? If you start to get convinced that it's very difficult to find free will in this world, or at least the way we look at this world, then think about what it means whenever you judge someone. Oh, he is such an asshole. He hit my car and now my car is broken. Well, he most probably just followed his predetermined path and ran into your car because that was not his day, because he has a fight, because he got drunk the night before, or whatever is the reason, but he doesn't have more free will than you do, so why get angry at him? Or when we judge the outcome of someone's creations, let's take an artist. Oh, he's such a genius, I admire him. Why do you admire him? It's his life experience, his genetics, the whole past of the universe that led to him or her that actually makes him a good artist. So again, yes, the outcome is pleasant, it fits your taste. That is again based on the whole history of your family, the universe, and the whole shebang that we discussed before. But basically that artist's creation resonates with your taste, and none of this is based on free will. Why is that so important for me? Because it's not because we don't have free will that not every moment in this life is a learning opportunity. So if you listen to this podcast and what I'm saying resonates with you, then you can start integrating something I say, and the whole system, which is composed of you, me, and others, is learning something and evolving. It's not because there is no free will that there is no possibility to learn. So we don't give up, because we could conclude out of this, free will doesn't exist, why does it matter? Let's just be an ass. But that's not what I'm saying. We can try in every moment to learn some wisdom out of what is happening, and if we learn that wisdom and integrate it, then our future decisions will be better. And I'm putting better between quotes. You can't see my fingers, but I'm putting quotes around better. Better is relative. Better is you feeling better about what you do. That's what the goal of learning, that's what the goal of wisdom is in our life. Whenever we strongly believe that everyone has free will, then it's the open door to judging everyone's actions like they are not doing their best with what they have. And whenever we judge someone, we are putting a distance between that person and ourselves, which naturally prevents us from trying to understand who they are, what built them. And if we build that distance, we don't learn anything from others. We will have a preset opinion about this or that category of people or this or that kind of behavior, and we will not make the effort to try to understand what that person's life might have been. We will not try to do anything to make that person more happy, which actually could help them learn something new, improve their own behavior. So building that distance with everyone else ensures that everyone is worse off than if we don't. Think also about the legal system. If we assume there is no free will, but everyone has the possibility to learn and improve, then the goal of the legal system would be twofold. First of all, to protect society against antisocial behaviors, and second, to try to help that person that committed a crime or did something wrong to learn from his ways and improve their future behavior so that they can reintegrate society. Now, since we assume that everyone is fully in charge at all times of all their behaviors, we accept actually that the legal system's goal is to punish the bad actors because they were so bad. And by the way, when we judge someone else to be bad, it's such a way to feel so much better about our own shitty behavior. So there is a natural incentive for us to judge others, but this is both from a social perspective and from an individual perspective a sure way never to learn anything about anything. And what I say about others is also true about ourselves. So when we think about ourselves that at every moment we freely and completely based on our own individual will, that we make all good and bad decisions, then we build the distance with ourselves. When we do something bad, we feel guilty about it, but we want to avoid that feeling because it's a negative feeling and we don't know what to do with it, and we don't fix the situations we create. So because we say, oh, I did that because I'm an angry person, or I did that because he was an asshole, or I did that because, I don't know, I'm naturally addicted, or other things that, if you look at it deeply, prevent the learning and prevent us from improving ourselves. That's the core reason why Buddhist psychology rejects judgment as much as they do. It's not an easy thing. When we get hurt, we judge. Why did that person do that to me? Why am I such a bad person that I don't deserve the respect? Why? Well, the why is because we all do our best, and the best is sometimes not that great. But if we look inside and find out why, how that specific behavior or that specific programming of our mind was put in place, then we have an opportunity to change it. But as soon as we judge, we label ourselves as being bad, as being lazy, as being whatever, and that prevents that. Whenever we put a sticker on ourselves, it's like deciding that that's what we are. And if we decide that that's what we are, then we also implicitly make the decision that it will always be like that and we can't change. Now there is another angle on this that is very important for me and which contributes to the fact that discussions about free will are a bit of my passion, is that our judgments towards others and ourselves, our assumption that everyone makes the decisions in a fully educated, fully intelligent, fully aware way, is an excellent way to manipulate us individually and collectively. There are multiple angles on how this can be used as a manipulation tool. The first one is that the judgment we make of others tends to fragment us, fragment the groups we are part of in a them versus us way. So those conservatives, those liberals, those, I don't know, pick your category of humans that are excluded or included in your own group. Those people. So we start generalizing that if one person did something bad to us, then all of the people that match those characteristics are shady, dangerous, maybe we should avoid them. So again, building distance. So when we have top-down messages that tell us that these people are the problem, or that we are the problem in the eyes of those people, then it's a sure way to prevent anyone to unite with anyone. Look, for instance, at the state of politics. It's all about forming groups, talking about identities, which are judgments, because some people will find that that gay person is bad because he's a sinner or whatever, or that specific race of humans is bad because they are lazy, or that specific gender is bad because they want to pervert our kids, or that specific characteristic is toxic because it represents strength or dangerousity or whatever. But all of these little lines, dividing lines that we put between people, assume many things. First of all, that identity defines the whole person and their behavior, that no behavior can be changed, that any characteristic that we inherit or develop during our life completely decides what we are doing. So this is interesting, by the way, because all people would talk about free will, but they just contradict themselves by saying that the fact that your gender, race, ethnicity, religious views or whatever predicts your behavior is already going against their own notion that anything is free or will-based. So back to manipulation. Whenever we fragment humans, start to apply stickers for these or these groups, we also make sure that no one unites with anyone else. And what would the powerful, the elites, the rich people, or whoever is your favorite enemy of the day want to avoid at all costs is that some group of people, as large as possible, unites against them. I would like to add something here. It took me a very long time to stop as much as possible to be judgmental towards the elites. I see how the news, the economical system, the political system, the voting system and all other things ensure that change is not possible in society, but it took me a long time to find out or to understand that the people that make sure that the change is not possible are also programmed by their own life and history and trauma and life experience and imagination about what losing their privilege would mean, or their fear of not being anything if they don't have everything. So even there it's possible not to judge the person, but to protect yourself against their behavior, or to protect ourselves against their behavior. It's not because you don't judge someone that you need to be a doormat. You can very clearly, lovingly exclude someone from your life, even with a kick in the ass if needed. The only thing is, when you do it lovingly, you will, first of all, not impact your own mood in such a way that you will be angry and impact your family, friends, and others with the anger that actually doesn't hurt at all those people that you don't like. Not judging allows you to calmly say, okay, I want to protect myself against that behavior. What is the minimum I need to do to make it happen? And not go, oh my God, I need to kill them. I will buy an AK-47. Oh, sorry. Dad is speaking in my head again. What you can simply say is, okay, I have a boundary. This type of behavior is unacceptable for me. I want to be protected against it, so I will tell those people that this is not acceptable behavior. And if they don't respect my boundary, then I will exclude them from my life, because I want to have a happy, peaceful life. Now, obviously, this is not always possible, because if your biggest source of pain is, for instance, the society you're living in, it's not always that easy to extract yourself from society sufficiently that society respects your boundaries. But in everyday life, the small steps are important, and it's very much possible to protect yourself against most of the daily things that make you angry, that make you afraid, or that in general make you lose that state of flow state which helps making good decisions. It's maybe time in this series of episodes that I start linking what I call spirituality, so what I think is worth exploring as potential options, with the very realistic things I'm talking about, which is psychology and physics and other real normal world stuff. The New Age movement, or let's say the most modern version of the New Age movement, believes in many things which would actually solve this problem that we believe in free will but don't see in a physical world how it would be possible. First of all, they believe that parallel timelines exist, so that you're not living one life, but you are living multiple lives that may be branched off at very important decision points, or of all decision points, and that actually every human is living an infinity of possibilities of future at the same time, and that we are conscious of the specific one we are in because that's the one we focus on. So we, at this level of reality, we ignore the others because our subconscious is focusing on this specific timeline that for some reason is attracting us. The other thing that the spiritual people believe in is that there are layers of reality, 12 usually. So they call them either dimensions or densities. The first density is the one of basic biological needs. The second density is the one of reproduction, small family units, and the beginning of some form of social interaction, but limited to your gene pool, basically. The third density is social. The fourth density is a higher level of a confrontation between good and evil. The fifth density is unity consciousness, where all beings realize that they are one, but they still have individual purpose and missions and agreements, and but they are fully aware that all life is one, and that we are expressions of a single life force that some call God, some call source, some call the dreamer, depending on what flavor of spirituality they work with. And this is also potentially the combination of the two things I said, so parallel timelines and a level of reality, the fifth density I was talking to about, where people, or whatever they are, souls, are aware of first of all timelines that are evolving or unfolding, and at the same time of the unity of all life, and how the connections between all living beings are making the world happen the way it is, the 3D world, the one that we are experiencing every day. This could be a solution to free will, because then you could test out the potential futures and see where they lead, and learn from the multiple unfolding timelines that you write. But obviously, personally, I don't have parallel timelines experiences. I know people that do. Maybe they are crazy, maybe they are not. But I don't have past life experience. I don't have other incarnation experience. I don't have telepathic experience. I'm a rookie in the spiritual world, if I'm even in that world. So this episode was going in all directions, but first of all, I don't see in a physical universe how we could have free will. We are just the downstream consequences of the whole unfolding of the past of the universe that led to us. Maybe the spiritual hypothesis is actually giving us some way of seeing how free will could exist, because of the testing of parallel timelines, parallel decisions, multiple branches of reality. Oh, I forgot to mention that that's actually not that far from what the most modern physics say. Many physical theories that try to solve the unsolved parts of, let's say, the grand unified theories between general relativity and quantum mechanics are talking about holographic principles, are talking about multiverse, either from a quantum perspective, so at each vector state reduction there are parallel universes created, or from a multiverse perspective inside one reality, like if the universe is infinite, there will be another version of me saying almost the same thing somewhere else, and these are also parallel ways of exploring the same reality. Okay, it's far away, so it's maybe not that easy to explore, but so the most advanced physics is not that far from the most advanced spiritual theories. We will see one day which one is right. So if you have any comments, questions, remarks, I'm happy to answer them either in the comment section or dedicating a specific podcast episode to it. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Atheist Guide to Spiritual Awakening, and I'm looking forward to be with you in the next episode soon.